All right, good morning, everybody. Court will begin with the April 6th, 2022 docket, and we're on YouTube. And Mr. Kettler, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Fine, fine. Thank you, sir. Are you here to do some default judgment hearings?
Some default judgments, sir, and MSJ at the beginning of the docket. I think it's number one.
Oh, okay. All right. That would be CL 18-1942D Jefferson Capital Systems LLC versus Orlando Cruz. And I don't see Orlando Cruz in the waiting room. And so court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a debt claim rising originally with original creditor Citibank. After a period of non-payment on the account, it had been subsequently charged off and assigned to the plaintiff Jefferson Capital Systems LLC. As you have taken all documents in your file, that should include plaintiff's motion for summary judgment, as well as the attached documents thereto. Accordingly, plaintiff is respectfully requesting judgment in the amount of $1,339.80 plus costs of court, as well as post-judgment interest at the current lawful rate of 5.0%. I believe the MSJ may have been filed at a different period of time.
Okay, very well. And grant your motion for summary judgment, and we'll grant you all remedy requested here in open court or in your petition, and court will await a summary judgment for signature. Has it been submitted? Do you know?
I'll be honest, Judge, I'm not entirely sure if an order has been sent by itself, but I'll go ahead and notify the client.
All right, very well.
Which other ones are easy?
Okay, which is your other case, Mr. Kettler?
I believe I may have your entire 9 a.m. default docket. So the next one I would have would be Maria D. Margo.
Okay, that'll be CL 18-2165D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Maria D. Margo. Court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you. This case is a motion for default judgment arising from debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been subsequently charged off and assigned to Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC, the plaintiff bringing today's suit. Accordingly, plaintiff respectfully requests judgment in the amount of $2,643.26 plus all costs of court, and Portfolio is waiving its right to collect post-judgment interest.
All right, court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in this petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. CL 18-2298D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Geraldine Llerena. Is that one of yours?
Yes, sir.
All right, court will take judicial notice of the entire file and will specifically note that the defendant is not in the waiting room. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a motion for default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off by the original creditor and assigned to Plaintiff Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC. Accordingly, plaintiff is respectfully requesting judgment today of default in the amount of $1,987.18 plus costs of court, and is waiving its right to collect post-judgment interest.
All right. What was the amount again, sir?
It was $1,987.18.
Okay, thank you. Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. And the next one I have is CL 18-2888D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Erica Fuentes. Court will note that Erica Fuentes is not in the waiting room, so therefore court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Your Honor, this is plaintiff's motion for default judgment arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been subsequently charged off and assigned to the plaintiff. Accordingly, plaintiff is seeking judgment of default today in the amount of $1,913.27 plus costs of court, and is waiving its right to collect post-judgment interest.
All right, court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in this petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. CL 1843-64D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Danielle Lopez.
No, you skipped number 5.
I'm sorry, I skipped number 5.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me go back here. Let me go to another one. Scratch that, court reporter. I have CL 183033D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Terry Santana. Court will note that Terry Santana is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is plaintiff's motion for default arising from a debt claim assigned by the original creditor to Portfolio Recovery Associates. Accordingly, plaintiff is respectfully requesting default judgment today in the amount of $1,158.58 plus costs of court, and is waiving their right to collect post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in this petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature.
Yes, on number 6, there was a motion for continuance filed on April 1st.
Okay. But we didn't grant that one, or didn't we?
No, but I think that was filed by plaintiff.
Then were they notified?
I don't know if he shows that.
Okay. I believe there was a motion for continuance on the next one, CL 1843-64D, Danielle Lopez. Do you see that, Mr. Kettler?
Well, Judge, unfortunately, and to be candid with you, I don't have a copy of it in front of me. I'm appearance counsel assisting with this case, but I have reviewed the Odyssey portal and I show that entry. So just in abundance of caution, I would like to go ahead and urge that continuance if filed by plaintiff.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll reset it.
We will pass for right now and reset it. We'll get a date later.
We need a new order setting.
It'll be, yeah, we will need a new order setting. Hearing date.
No action.
New order to be submitted. No action. Okay, sir.
Understood, Judge. Just to confirm, there is no date certain set yet. It's just plaintiff's office will need to get that order setting hearing, and then a date will be set.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood. Thank you.
Would you need to have the defendant's last known
Yes,
address
of course. With along with defendant's last known address or email. Okay.
I got that down. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I think the next one here is that one, CL 1843-73D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Paola Mireles. Court will note that Paola Mireles is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's default arising from a debt claim. The original creditor, after a period of non-payment, had assigned the account and sold it to Portfolio Recovery Associates. Accordingly, they are the proper plaintiff to be bringing today's suit and are bringing motion for default in front of you for judgment in the amount of $4,339.32 plus costs of court, and is waiving post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in this petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. CL 1843-86D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Sebastian Barron. Court will note that the defendant's name is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's motion default arising from a debt claim after a period of non-account had been charged off, assigned, and sold to Portfolio. Accordingly, Portfolio is seeking default judgment today in the amount of $2,854.15 plus costs of court, and is waiving their right to collect.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in this petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. Next I have here
On number 9, there was already a non-suit signed on January 1st of 2022.
non-suit. The Discover Bank versus Antonia Pecina, CL 184508D. There's a non-suit that was signed January 26. Was that one of yours?
Judge, I believe that was one that was taken off my docket, but
Okay.
that is from the firm. So
Okay.
that it been on behalf of the firm who's part of this docket today.
Okay. All right. That's what I have here. That on CL 4508D, Discover Bank versus Antonia Pecina. A non-suit order was signed on the January 26th. Okay. Turn the page here. And I have CL 184822D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Noelia Monsiváis. Court will note that that person is not in the waiting room, so therefore court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's motion for default arising after a period of non-payment. The account had been charged off and assigned to plaintiff. Accordingly, they are seeking a total judgment amount today in the amount of $2,175.47 plus costs of court, and is waiving its right to collect post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested hearing in open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. CL 184823D, Discover Bank versus Andramar Saldivar. Court will note that that person or individual is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is plaintiff's motion for default arising from a debt claim. Plaintiff is the original creditor. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, and accordingly, plaintiff is seeking the outstanding balance. They're seeking judgment in the amount of $10,528.93 plus costs of court and post-judgment interest at the lawful rate of 5.0%.
All right, court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested hearing in open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. Now, on the next one, Modesto Uribe. I saw his name in the waiting room, and I think we're going to try to bring him in.
He is on, but he has no audio.
He is on, but there is no audio. Modesto Uribe. CL 184901D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Modesto Uribe.
Señor Uribe, por favor, oprima el botón para sonido. I think he's going to need interpreting.
Okay.
Señor Modesto, por favor, oprima el botón para sonido.
Okay, we're trying to get him in here, and why don't we skip this one for a little while and let's go to another one, and let's try CL 184978D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Elida M. Sanchez. Court will note that that person is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's motion for default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, assigned, and sold to plaintiff. Accordingly, they're seeking a judgment amount today in the amount of $2,760.53 plus costs of court, and is respectfully waiving its right to collect post-judgment interest.
All right, court will therefore court will grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested hearing in open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. Okay, nothing yet on Mr. Uribe. CL 185045D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Federico Alanis Jr. Court will note that that person is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Your Honor, today we're on plaintiff's motion for default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, assigned, and sold to plaintiff. Accordingly, they're seeking a judgment amount to $3,530.04, all costs of court, and is waiving post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in his petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature.
Okay, Mr. Modesto, unmuted right now. Señor Uribe, por favor, escucha a la corte.
Sí, sí los escucho muy bien.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. ¿Usted es el señor Uribe?
Sí, señorita.
Yes, he is Mr. Uribe.
Okay, Mr. Uribe, we're here on a default judgment hearing. You don't have an attorney by any chance, do you?
Señor Uribe, ¿usted tiene abogado?
No tengo, no me alcanza para eso.
No, I don't have one. I don't have enough to
Okay,
an attorney.
Mr. Uribe, have you been communicating with your credit card company?
Señor Uribe, ¿usted se ha estado comunicando con la tarjeta, la compañía de tarjeta de crédito?
No me he comunicado desde, ¿qué será? 2015.
No, I haven't communicated with him since 2015.
Okay, because we're here on a motion for default hearing.
La audiencia de hoy, señor Uribe, es un juicio por defecto, porque usted no pagó y tiene un balance en la tarjeta.
¿Y ellos son de Capital One los que me están hablando?
Yeah. Did you ever get their phone number? Did you ever communicate with them?
Ahora recientemente no se ha comunicado con ellos.
No recuerdo.
Well,
No, I don't recall.
okay, Mr. Keller, maybe we get a phone number or something so we can allow him to communicate with them and see if they can settle something. And if not, we'll just set it for another
Sure.
day.
I've got a couple phone numbers that I can provide. I don't know what method he's on. Either he's on just cell with no video, but I'll just go ahead and read off the phone numbers.
Oh, okay.
And I have two. The first one that I have is for attorney Megan Hale.
Megan Hale.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Her phone number is 262 796
796
7890.
7890. Okay.
And I have a second number as a fallback of 866
66
456
456
3744.
3744.
Señor Uribe, hay dos teléfonos. ¿Tiene algo para anotar el teléfono del abogado de la compañía para que usted se comunique con él o con ella?
Sí, se los puedo decir para ver si coincide.
Okay. Yo se lo doy.
A ver, dígame.
Es 262
Sí,
796
sí,
7890.
sí. Ok.
Y la abogada se llama Megan
Hale.
Hale.
¿Cómo se escribe eso?
Megan es M-E-G-A-N.
¿Correcto?
Hale.
H is
H-A-L-E.
I know, but what's H?
H.
H-A-L-E.
Ok.
Okay. And then
Está.
it's a second. Did you give me a
Y
second?
hay un segundo número en caso de que no se pueda comunicar con ella. Es el 866
Sí,
456
sí.
3744.
Ok.
La corte no va a tomar acción hoy, pero usted tiene que hablar con ella a ver si puede llegar a un acuerdo, tal vez en pagos o algo. Y lo que va a hacer la corte es, esta audiencia se va a poner para otra fecha y usted debe de recibir notificación de la otra audiencia, pero es importante de que trate de llegar a un acuerdo para que no tenga que haber esa audiencia.
Ah, o sea que si me pongo de acuerdo con ellos, pues ya,
Ujú.
no necesito audiencias, ¿verdad?
Hable con ellos.
Sí. Ujú.
Está muy bien.
What we explained, Mr. Kettler, is that we are allowing him some time to communicate with Megan Hale so he can hopefully reach an agreement or a settlement, and we won't have to have another hearing. But we are going to set, we will set it for another hearing. We'll need another order setting hearing. Yeah, we'll need another order setting hearing date on this one.
Would this
And
be for a
hopefully,
conference, Judge?
I'm sorry?
Would this be for a status conference, Judge?
You want
Yeah,
to?
to
Yeah,
see
let's
what-
do a status conference. That'll
Okay.
work. That'll work. We'll do a status conference.
La próxima audiencia, señor Uribe, va a ser de una audiencia para ver si llegaron a un acuerdo o no. Si no llegaron a un acuerdo, entonces ellos están pidiendo una orden por la cantidad de lo que usted debe.
Ok. ¿De cuánto dijeron ellos?
Can you provide the amount?
Yeah. What was the amount that where you were going to seek today, Mr. Kettler, on this one? On CL 184901D, Modesto Uribe.
The amount being sought for this account is $2,446.84.
En esta cuenta, ellos quieren una orden de 2,446,84 centavos. So, trate de llegar a un acuerdo con ellos.
Muy bien, señorita.
Okay,
Entonces,
thank you.
es todo nada más.
That's it.
That's it, Mr.
Sí,
Uribe.
es
You're
todo.
excused.
Ya
Thank
se
you,
puede
sir.
retirar.
Have a great day.
Gracias. Pase buen día.
Muchas gracias.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, we took care of this one. Okay. Did I go? Yeah, I think we're next with.
Number 15.
I think number 15. 15 is next. CL 185047D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Eliseo Lopez. Court will note that that individual Lopez is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's motion default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, assigned, and sold to plaintiff. Accordingly, plaintiff is seeking a judgment amount today in the amount of $5,579.86 plus costs of court and no attorney's fees or post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. CL 185108D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Victor Alvarez. Court will note that Victor Alvarez is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's for default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, signed, sold the portfolio. Accordingly, the portfolio is seeking a judgment amount today of $3,395.43 plus costs of court and no attorney's fees or post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested here in open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. On the next one, Priscilla Garza, I see her on the screen here. That'll be CL 185240D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Priscilla Garza. And I note here that she filed an answer on November 13, 2018, November 13, 2018.
Correct.
Do you see that, Mr. Kettler?
Judge, it's a similar situation as one of the last ones where I don't show it physically in front of me, but I do show that in the Odyssey portal. So that's good enough.
Okay. All right. So therefore, there'll be no action today on CL 185240D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Priscilla Garza. Good morning, Ms. Garza. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
There'll be no action today because you did file an answer on November 13, 2018. But there may be a motion for summary judgment down the line. Have you been in contact with the creditors or anything like that?
Yes, sir.
Have you been trying to work out a deal or something or settlement?
I have, and they rejected my the negotiation that I had offered them.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, keep trying. Today we'll take no action. We'll do nothing today because we can't take a default judgment because there's an answer on file on your behalf. And so, but there may be something there down the line, and we'll let you know what's coming down the pipe. Okay.
Okay.
So for right now, no action. But I would encourage you to keep working or keep those negotiations going. Okay, man.
Yes, I mean, I had explained to them that I'm going through a medical issue right now that it's really hard for me to pay for them because right now my main concern is having to pay for my chemo.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry, I have kind of a special request here because for hardship situations, there are certain protocol that line up and things that happen. Would it be all right if me and Miss Garza went to a breakout room just super quick?
Okay.
Would that be okay?
All right. Let me do that. Let me just have both of you communicate.
Sure. I just don't want anything to fall through the cracks here.
Yes. Okay. Very well.
Can she wait and
Oh,
while we
okay.
finish the other document?
Okay. That's
We got two more
okay.
to go.
All right. We got 2 more to go. She'll wait. Let me, Miss Garza, are you gonna take her out back again?
No, she'll stay there.
Okay. Wait a little while. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just wait a little while. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Let's see.
So we go to number 18.
8. There you go. Thank you. CL 185264D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Maria Razo. Court will note that Maria Razo is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file. And you may proceed, sir.
Your Honor, this is a plaintiff's motion for default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, assigned, and sold to plaintiff. Accordingly, they're seeking a judgment in the amount of $1,380.82 plus all costs of court, and is not seeking any attorney's fees or post-judgment interest.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested hearing open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. CL 185490D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Carmen Campos. Court will note that Campos is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
All right, Judge. This is also plaintiff's motion for default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, assigned, and sold to plaintiff. And accordingly, they're seeking a judgment in the amount of $3,803.05 plus costs of court, but no post-judgment interest or attorney's fees.
All right, court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested hearing open court or in its petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature. And number 20, the last one I think I have here is CL 186249D, Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Alvin de Hoyos Jr. Court will note that such person is not in the waiting room. Therefore, court will take judicial notice of the entire file, and you may proceed, sir.
Thank you, Judge. This is plaintiff's default arising from a debt claim. After a period of non-payment, the account had been charged off, assigned, and sold the plaintiff, and accordingly, they're seeking judgment today in the amount of $2,381.66 plus costs of court and no post-judgment interest or attorney's fees.
Court will hereby grant default judgment in favor of plaintiff. Court will grant plaintiff all relief requested hearing open court or in this petition. Court will await a default judgment for signature.